Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Women in Hospitality and Travel Technology Masterclass. Today, we're going to talk about a subject which is very close to my heart, is hospitality sales, but also technology sales. And the main objective will be two things. First of all, really opening a world of opportunities by looking at the synergies. It means potentially a new job, moving to a new job, helping you with that. But also looking at synergy between both styles of sales, which will help you to do your job even better wherever you are. So let's start now. We are just waiting for the slides. Okay, just give me a second, please. Really sorry about that. I won't be long. And we are ready. Let me just check that you can see. Okay, let's go. Sorry about that. Welcome to technology. So, my sales journey. So I've spent actually many years in hospitality, where I was working in sales in companies such as Accor and Radisson. And 4 years ago, I moved to distribution, which was the beginning of my journey in technology, and then into a technology company. So really happy to share today what I've seen, but also sometimes some bumpy and some mistake that I've done along the way. So in the next 30 minutes, what you're going to see is I'm going to go through technology sales, so discover more about the cycle with technology when you sell. Then we'll go through the synergies between both technology and hospitality sales. And finally, so do stay with us until the end, is the top 3 best practice, which are really going to help you right now, either to preparing a move into a technology sales job or to make you more successful in your current role. I forgot to say that if you have any question, do not hesitate to post them and I will answer them as we go along. So don't wait, let's not wait for the end and do step in. So starting with a sales cycle in technology. So this is what I discovered when I moved into technology. And the cycle is actually involving a lot of people. So the big difference between, I would say, technology and hospitality sales is there is no risk in technology of working in silos because everybody works together, everybody is involved in the sales cycle. And also there is a very strong focus in technology sales on the prospection. So we'll come back to this later on. But let's go through each of the stage and who is involved. So if you work in technology sales, you will be working with your marketing colleagues that are going to be responsible for lead generation. So they are going to be the one creating white papers, schedule campaign to go and really start the prospection process by really generating leads and interest from your prospect. Then there is what I discovered in technology sales, which is fantastic, is if you are a sales manager, for example, is you get help. And you get help to qualify your opportunities with a group of really important colleagues. They are the sales development representative. They are your colleagues who are going to be on the phone, on social media, on email, really qualifying your prospect. And they're going to do this via, for example, there will be 2 teams, or it could be 1, depending on the company, inbound and outbound leads. So some we call SDR are going to focus on inbound leads, and some of them are going to be really focusing on outbound. So getting in touch with your prospect and generating interest and starting the qualification. Once there is an opportunity, then it's coming to the account executive or the sales manager or the sales development manager, whatever the name of the role is. And this is obviously crucial. You are finishing the qualification and you are closing the deal. Now, the big difference in technology is that if you are a sales manager in technology and you win the business, you're actually passing on sometimes to someone else. And that's very different from hospitality sales, where usually the same person handles new business and existing business. In technology, you have a different team called the customer success managers, and they are going to look after the customers. They're going to make sure the customer is using the solution, make sure they're happy, and they are really going to take care of the customers. Until it's time to renew the contract, then the account executive will come back in the picture and help to renew the contract. The other role of customer success manager is also really to feed the innovation of the company by working with the product management team and making sure that all the feedback from the client is fed back for future development. So this is a really important role as well. So really to recap, the sales cycle in technology as well can be quite long, maybe 3 to 6 months, and also really a team of people working together through the journey from prospection to developing the solution to the customer. So let's move on now between looking at the synergy between hospitality and technology sales. So why is it important? Well, it's important for 2 things. First of all, it's really helping you if you are thinking to move into technology sales. There are actually some skills that you're already making use of in your current role that you could actually use in the future if you were to move into technology sales. So this, I would really do them in two types. First of all, the soft skills and then the functional skills. So first of all, the soft skills. So the soft skill influencing is really, really important. You're really showing to the prospect some possible alternative. And this can be really, really hard sometimes because your prospect may not be even aware that they have a pain. So it's showing them the pain, but it's really influencing them into making a change in their processes. Building strong relationship at C-level is really important in technology because usually the budget that are needed to buy the solution are pretty high. So you need to make sure you have all the C-level who are already engaged with you to make sure that the closure of the deal will go ahead. And this is already used by hospitality sales, but I would say in technology sales is even more important. Collaboration with other departments is key. In technology, as I saw before, it's happening naturally because the client journey is going through different teams. But within hospitality, I did notice in the time I spent that sometimes we were working in silos between revenue management, sales, marketing. This is not possible in technology, so something really to develop. Curiosity. Technology is moving so fast. You always need to really learn and keep yourself updated, but be very curious. And this, you can be using it as well to target your clients as well, understanding their business and be curious about their pains and what needs to change for them. Listening skills, I think, are both important in both type of sales and super, super important. The less you talk, the better it is because you're really getting what the client needs. Hands-on approach is really a value, I think, in both industries. In hospitality sales is really, really common, but maybe because you need to be, if you're based on the property, you may need to be a duty manager on one shift and so on. But in technology sales, being hands-on is really appreciated as well. Proactivity is everything, and I'm really adamant that in the next few months, proactivity, which is going to be really, really important to get the business in both hospitality, but also in technology. And finally, data insights is everything. So everybody is going to need to spend more time looking at the data. There's so much data available. So maybe for hospitality sales is getting the data from the PMS, from your revenue management system and so on, and take adequate really actions. Same for technology sales. The second type of skills, which can be really are important between the two types of sales, but also will be crucial if you decide to move into technology sales, is focus on quota or target. In technology sales, this is the base of everything, hospitality as well. So this is something super crucial. The second thing is really demonstrating the value of a solution, so not the features. So if you do a demonstration in technology sales, the objective is really to show the value of the solution. And that's important because sometimes the client may not be, the prospect may not be even aware there is a pain, and he may not be aware that there is a different world, that by using a specific solution, we can help him to make his life much easier or his job far more interesting. Prospection is everything, and I will come back to this later on. Use of multi-communication channels is absolutely key to be able to use everything. So the phone, of course, go back to picking up the phone to the client, social media, and also virtual or face-to-face, going to events when they're going to come back, and so on. Forecasting, really key. I mean, in technology, the sales manager is actually responsible for forecasting on the opportunities to make sure they're going to be delivered at the specific time. And finally, is really about executing. So you have a sales process in place and making sure that you're executing stage after stage until closure. So really, when I took the time to think about the synergy between the two types of sales, I felt there were a lot of synergies, which means it's actually really possible for my ex-colleague in hospitality to move into technology and bringing all the skills they had in hospitality and applying them into technology. But it's also, I feel, by being more successful and using these skills to make your job more successful. So the last area that I really wanted to focus on today were 3 really best practices that I feel are going to be crucial right now for both hospitality sales and technology sales to be more successful, but probably also, if needed, to find a new role in the future. So the first one is innovation. Before we go any further, I just want to remind you that you can post questions and I will handle your questions straight away. So please don't be shy and do mention and do tell us when you have any question. So the first really thing I would focus on is innovation. So actually with 2 things. First of all, with your clients, but also in your job search. So I actually have a story. In my sales career, my largest deal I've ever signed was actually in 2008. In the middle of a banking crisis, I signed a really large deal with a bank. And this sounds pretty crazy because that was really not an easy time for banking and for hospitality. But I managed to do that. And how did I do it? I did it with a simple phone call, which was to make sure the client, the prospect at the time, was aware that I was here. I was following their news and really taking the time to listen to their new needs. The customer was also going through a very bumpy and they needed help. So it was really a case of listening, coming up with solutions, and really making sure I was working collaboration with the rest of the teams to come up with really the solution that would really make this interaction with this prospect a partnership. So with your clients at the moment, I would really recommend to pick up the phone, understand what they're going through, because they are just going through a similar challenge, the same challenge as you do, and understanding what you can help them with. In technology, it is really usual, and it happens, to walk away. So we may decide that actually this is not the right piece of business. Maybe our technology cannot fit with the technology they have in place. And I think it's really key, and that's a mistake I've done in the past, is not to walk away early enough when it was not the right deal. So it's really important to keep really collaborating with the rest of the company and understanding, is this actually a right piece of business for us? Another thing which makes me sometimes really sad in hospitality sales is the RFP process. So this is for the corporate business. It's really challenging every year to get into a very manual and time-consuming process. My recommendation is really to try to get out of RFPs, especially for your largest customers, or be the one writing the RFP. So I remember in my previous job where I was in companies where I saw RFP coming in and I knew that he had been written by a competitor. And this is a really, really good place to be in order to win the business. So I would recommend to investigate this avenue with your customer and see how much you can influencing this RFP process. Finally, with your clients, productivity. So what else can you do to get rid of the manual task and really focus on bringing value to your customers? So it could be maybe a better use of a CRM or better use of technology, which has been in place in your company and you may not have been making full use of it. A simple thing, for example, if you're trying to organize a meeting with your client, instead of exchanging emails to get a date in the diary, why not actually just send him or send her a link with a link to your calendar so they can actually choose the right time to meet? There are lots of applications which are actually, for most of them, free of charge that you can use and help to increase your productivity. Now, innovation in your job search. I really feel this time we are not going to be able, all of us, anyone who is looking for a job, to find a job in the same way as usual. It's going to really require everybody to come up with what is their value and making sure that we are building up a prospection plan to really find the right the prospect and get in touch with the right company. So this is going to take innovative approach. The second best practice I would really focus on at the moment is collaboration. Collaboration in technology, as I showed before, is actually really common. I mean, technology was born by collaborating between the engineering team, the product management, sales, marketing. Everybody is collaborating to find the right solution for the customers. And I would really recommend for the same to happen in hospitality. I've seen in the past situation of silos where sales was working with with a set of KPIs, revenue management with a different, marketing with a different. And I think it's really beneficial when you have all the teams looking at the same data and making the decisions together. If I was an hospitality salesperson today, the first thing I would do is I would go and sit down with my revenue management colleagues, and I will understand how they're actually managing the business. If your company has invested in a revenue management system, again, for sales to investigate what is actually this machine doing, because this has an impact on your business that you manage, on your corporate business you manage with your customers. The second thing is I will collaborate with the client. I've seen many times before in my career where we build up this collaboration with the client and making sure there were a few departments on our side involved and a few departments on their side involved, really coming up with solution and bringing up really the best of the partnership between both populations. And finally, really building up a sales culture in the company. I've worked in company where everybody was involved with sales, up to the CEO who would pick up the phone to maybe his network and so on. And this is really, really powerful and very empowering when you feel that all the company is behind you in sales. And for the future, this is going to be really key. So maybe in a hotel, it's going to be the case of having front office, restaurant, everybody behind, looking for sales, looking for new customers. And this is really powerful. So collaboration is the best practice at the moment. And finally, prospection. So why prospection is so important? Well, the business in hospitality, we're fully aware that the demand is going to be much smaller in the future. So what it's going to take is a lot of proactivity and really building a prospection plan. And maybe this is going to be new for us because for many years, business has come in. If I'm a hotel based in Paris or hotel based in London, New York, I may have actually chosen, with the help of my revenue management colleague, what business I wanted and be choosy. I guess for the near future, this is going to be different. And sales is going to have a very, very important role to play and actually be proactive and build up prospection plans. So what is it going to take? Well, first of all, it's going to take a first step, which is really who is going to be your ideal client. So it may be a set of segmentation. If I'm in hospitality today in a hotel, it may be time to review segmentation. Are there new segments that I'm going to look for, business for? Maybe domestic travel is going to be the first one to come back, but really build up who is my ideal client. And in technology, we do it all the time. We're very clear about what type of companies we're going to go after. Then you're going to need to do a calculation because prospection is actually a lot of work, but it's important because you are trying to get to a target revenue. How many phone calls this is going to require? How many people I need to contact in order to build up my leads, which would turn into opportunities, which would turn into confirmed revenue. So a simple calculation is going to be needed. And this will help you to understand how many calls I need to do every day. And this is going to be for everybody involved with sales. And then thirdly, I'm going to define the contacts. So how many per client? How many, for example, meeting organizers? Yeah, meeting business will come back at one point, maybe differently, but it will come back. How many in my client that I look after I need to reach out to? Agree the message. This is going to be done as a collaborative effort within a hotel or within a technology company. Especially at the moment, you don't want to be seen as being a pushy, aggressive salesperson. It's really going to show a lot of empathy and really looking at the future, helping the client to view the future and how you can help them to scale their business or to keep their business afloat, really. Then how are you going to prospect? So what channels are you going to use? Is this going to be a mix of phone calls, social media, maybe a campaign organized by your marketing department? And then it's going to be about scheduling. Personally, I would really schedule prospection first thing in the morning, but it needs to be every day. And my recommendation is to block in your diary, block of prospection every day. Prospection is really about being disciplined and do it. Do it every day. Maybe it's the hardest thing in your day. Well, start by doing it first thing in the morning, but this is really key. And finally, it's a learning process. So learn what works, what doesn't work. Maybe a first approach via social media is working. Maybe it's not. Maybe try a new way of communicating the first time. Getting in touch, see, do you get a return? No, should I change? Let's change. It's all about what technology is doing really well, is try, test, and change. This is about prospection. And as I mentioned before, prospection is going to be really key in your job search. I would actually build a prospection plan the same way you're doing your prospection for sales. It's going to take the same amount of time and it's going to take the same amount of efforts. So I've really shown three first things that I would really focus on, which is the prospection, the collaboration, But now, one thing which I would really encourage everybody who is considering moving to technology or wants to know more about the technology used, for example, in hospitality, is really discover, be very curious about technology. And this can take reading books, attending conference, virtual conference, reaching out, following via LinkedIn some experts. But today, everybody should be very clear about what is artificial intelligence, what is machine learning, and what is the impact. Because all the technology which is built today is really mostly based on these two. And you need to be able to articulate very clearly, if you are in technology sales, what is artificial intelligence and machine learning doing for my solution? And if you are in hospitality, you need to be aware of what the technology is doing, which is actually applied and used in your hotel. So if I was in hospitality sales today, I would make sure I would know what is a revenue management system doing and what is actually doing on my client. So this is really key and a strong recommendation. So I would just go a little bit further. If you want to go further, either because you are searching for a new job or you want to become more and more efficient in your hospitality sales or in your technology sales. First of all, and even more important at the moment, is really to reaching out to network. And when you are reaching out to network, you need to make sure that your message is very clear. What are you looking for? What is your value? And making sure that it's very clear. Yeah. So when I moved to technology 4 years ago in my first company, we were actually trained how to do a pitch. And I think everybody should be able to pitch about what they're doing, what their ideas are. So this is a really important. Oh, I'm sorry. I just have a question that I'm going to answer. How do you always need to be super convinced about your product in order to sell it? This is a really cool question. So personally, for me, it's super important. I have been really successful in my job when I really believed in the product and in what it could deliver. So yes, I think it's, and if you're not super convinced, then reach out, but your experts within your companies who can give you proofs that the solution, or for example, if you're working in hospitality, really proof of what your product can deliver. I think this is really important because this will help you to influence your prospect. So if I was in hospitality and my venue, for example, my hotel is the best venue in the area for weddings. If I'm new to this venue, I will make sure that I understand everything we can deliver to organize a wedding, all the good stories, all the good weddings we organized in the past, and really engage with this. And when this becomes really personal and you feel in your heart that, yes, you can deliver the best wedding in the area, then it will be much easier to make up your numbers. So I think this is a really good question. Thank you. Whoever asked it, it was a really good one. Okay, so reach out was the first one. Here we are. We've got a second question. I will go through it now. Would you have any advice for cold calling or cold email? How practice, especially now working from home? Yes, this is a really, so cold calling is really important. I think what's key is preparation. So again, once you know the value of your solution or value of your product, then build up the message. And that's why I recommend you don't do it on your own. So maybe reach out to a colleague, do it the two of you or whatever, but agree a clear message together. And then practice with a colleague, practice a call. Today, in these few weeks, this is the best time to reach out to prospects. A lot of people are working from home. Actually, it's the first time for many, I would say years, you can actually make a phone call to a C-level and get hold of him or her. So luckily, in your CRM, you've got a telephone number, which is a mobile number, and call. This is really crucial time. And the same if you are looking for a job, is the best time to reach out and call VC level. So go for it. Cold calling is hard. It takes guts to do it, but it's super rewarding. And just be brave. Need to be bold at the moment, yeah. But practice with your colleagues, practice with your family before you make the call if you need to, and monitor the result. Question from Nadia: do you say we are the best? Oh gosh, no. What I would say is, I think the message needs to be a little more subtle. I think we are the best for the pain that you have, for the issues you have. And I would always back up with fact. So we have been helping. So this company had similar issues. This is what they've done, and this is how we help them. So it's not about saying we are the best. It's giving fact and proof that actually you've been helping a similar company with a similar issue. I hope I answer your question, Nadia, but this is what I would do. So I think we'll go now a little bit further, as I can't see any other question, but keep going with these questions. They're really, really good. I love it. So grow your network. So at the moment, I mean, this is the best way to increase your network. I just explained everybody almost is available. I would actually bring it a bit faster, because people are going to start going back to work. So it's going to become a little bit harder. So carry on in the next few days. But I would always offer to help. Yeah. So someone connected you on LinkedIn, said they want to get in touch with you, connect with you. Great. I would always offer, can I help you? Can I introduce to someone in my network? And so on. Yeah. We're here to offer help, not to take from everybody. I think that's really key. Now, if you are looking for a new role, or if you are a salesperson, I would optimize your LinkedIn profile. Yeah. So I think more and more people want to do business with people they know. So make sure that your LinkedIn profile is really reflecting what is your company doing, how you can help. And make sure you have a banner. I mean, this is not acceptable these days, I'm sorry, but to have a LinkedIn profile without a banner. If you don't know how to do a banner on your LinkedIn profile, go to Canva. It's a very good application. It's free of charge, and you can build up your LinkedIn. And maybe we need to make sure we help you with that. So reach out if you need help, but optimize your LinkedIn profile is key. Even you're not looking for a job, just to make sure your prospect know where to find you and find out a bit more about you before they start doing business with you. Now, I really believe that continuous development, especially in sales, is crucial. So what I do is I follow experts on LinkedIn. So I have actually a few experts that I follow. So I put two of them here, Mark Hunter and Jess Brown. I really, really like what they post. They post every day. They're both based in the US. So you probably get if you're based in Europe, you get it in the afternoon. But it's really, really good. And they're fantastic. And they will give you lots of ideas how to do a cold calling, what sort of messaging to put, and so on. But there's many more. So if you're linked up with me, you will see, and I can introduce you to them as well. When I moved to technology, actually, all the companies I work for were actually really encouraging me to read. And I read like fictions for leisure, but I started to read more and more books, business book about selling. So there's one which I really recommend, which is pretty new. I think it's only a few months old. It's Inked by Jeb Blount. I would really recommend for you to read it. It's on Amazon. And it's an introduction to sales, which is really, really refreshing with very practical things. For example, never send a proposal without speaking. So I remember in hospitality, I used to send proposal, for example, for meetings, very large meeting. I was trying to get in touch with a customer, but it was an RFP, something really cold process. And I actually find out, since I'm moving technology, never send a proposal. Always ask the customer, let's schedule a call and we will go through the proposal together, because this is really giving you a chance to actually move quicker to the closure. I understand it's not always possible, but I would actually try. And you may find sometimes it's really surprising, but you manage to get these meetings in the diary. Now, we have a question from Tan. Oh, yes, Tan. So hospitality has traditionally been slow to adopt new technology. In some parts, this has a lot to do with market readiness. How do you split your time educating the emerging market and selling to these types of market? This is such a good question. Yes, hospitality, this has been a challenge. And hospitality has traditionally been a little bit slow to adopt technology. This is actually a really large opportunity for everybody in technology who is trying to help hospitality. I think it's really crucial if you're working in technology and you've got targets. One mistake I've probably done in the past is spend too much time educating. And I think it's really important when you build your prospection list to make sure that you have you spend time identifying the companies that are not going to need much education because they're already quite far ahead in their journey. And make sure you spend the relevant amount of time on these companies to reach out and do your quota. And then the rest of the time, which is going to take longer to develop, and spend the time on education. So as a sales leader, I would be really careful and make sure I spend the relevant time on the low-hanging fruits, as we say, and then the education, because I know the markets that needs a lot of education will take longer to deliver. And as a salesperson, we don't have much choice but to move on our quota really fast. So I hope it helped, Tan, but obviously happy to carry on this conversation. Now, what else to do? Well, at the moment, and I've been doing it for many years, but join organization. Yeah, so organization maybe of sales or technology. So of course, I'm here delighted to do a masterclass with women in hospitality and travel tech. Fantastic organization. But you may decide you want to join other ones and discover other things. This is really key. Also, when you join, I would strongly recommend for you to do voluntary. So voluntary work, offer your help to be maybe a mentor. This is really, really appreciated and it's really important. We need to make sure, especially in sales, it's not an easy always role to do. We need to make sure we're helping each other. And I think by joining organization, exchanging ideas, offering to help, and so on, this is really crucial. And actually make you feel really good. Sometimes I feel really good because I'm helping, and I just hope the person I'm helping is getting as much pleasure as I do, but this is really rewarding. And then, talking about helping, get yourself a mentor. So these days, I would really recommend everybody actually is both, is a mentee and is a mentor, because that's really, really helpful. I've always, especially in the time when I was thinking of moving of career or maybe doing something differently, apply for a promotion, I always make sure I had a mentor, either in the organization or outside to support me. What I learned a few years ago is that the very successful people usually get a lot of help. They're not doing it on their own. They may even have a coach. I mean, if you can afford a coach, or maybe someone who is training to be a coach, even better. But do get some help. You're not on your own, and it takes really a community to make us really successful. So these are really the points that I wanted to follow. So as we don't have any question, I will move on to my last slide. So if you would like to keep this conversation going, please do get in touch with me on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, but let's start with LinkedIn. For me, it's been absolutely a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much for the question. I hope you found it useful. all I would say, really to finish off, is that there are lots of opportunities out there. They may not be obvious to you, but they are. And by looking just outside and into technology, or thinking about moving into technology, or making yourself more successful in your current job, just look just slightly outside of your comfort zone, and you will see many, many opportunities of development. And this is really, really cool. Now, just to finish off, I'm going to remind you that you can watch this episode again on Women in Hospitality and Travel Tech websites /masterclass. You can also follow Women in Hospitality and Travel Tech on all the social media. You can also, next time, please tune next week, the same day, the same time, for the masterclass, which is going to be the second part of public speaking. So this is going to be amazing. Public speaking, I didn't talk about it, but that's really key as well. So thank you again for joining today. It's been a pleasure being with you, and all the best in the next few weeks and few months. Thank you. Bye-bye.